So you've been saving up for that amazing down payment, visualizing the move-in day excitement. But here comes the closing costs, tapping on your shoulder. As a real estate agent in New York for 10 years, I've seen those heartbroken looks on first-time home buyers' faces when they realize they need to shell out extra cash. But don't worry, we're in this together. I'm here to break it down for you so you can well prepare for the home ownership in New York. What's the closing cost, by the way? Rather than paying each service individually, these costs are bundled into a single sum due on your closing date, in addition to your down payment. Generally, it costs total around 1 to 6% of the home's purchase price. It's the second highest closing cost in the nation. What's typically included in New York's closing costs? Each state has its own set of rules when it comes to real estate closings, from hiring an attorney to paying for real estate transfer taxes. With so many moving parts, it's easier to group your expenses into 3 categories. First, mortgage-related fees. When you're on the journey to owning a home and not paying cash upfront, your first pit stop will be with the lender to secure a home mortgage. Loan origination fees. Think of these as the setup charges for your home loan application. They cover tasks like preparing your application, doing some background checks, and providing pre-approval letter. These fees come in at around 0.5 to 1%. Credit report fee costs $25 to $30 per person. If you're not able to make a down payment of 20%, your lender might ask you to get something called private mortgage insurance or PMI. This is like a safety net for the lender in case things don't go as planned. PMI usually ranges from 0.25 to 2.25% of your loan. In New York, you must hire an attorney to handle home selling and buying transactions. It can vary depending on how complicated the sale is, where you're at in the state. Some attorneys charge by the hour, while others might ask for a retainer fee upfront. However, from my experience, they usually charge a flat fee since most real estate transactions are not that complicated. Category number 2, property-related fees. That includes title search. When you're on the brink of property ownership, whether it's a brand new house or one that's been around for a while, you need to make sure you're getting a clean slate. This means you will need a title examination to ensure there are no ownership disputes, unpaid taxes, legal judgments, or ongoing lawsuits tied to the land. During the search, the title company looks through historical records like these, court papers, and property indexes. It costs usually $300 to $1,000. Once the title search is done, your lender will ask you to get both owners and lenders' title insurance policies. That's 0.6% of the purchase price. Anytime ownership of real estate changes hands, there's a tax to keep in mind. In New York, the tax is $2 for every $500 of property value, and if your new property costs a cool million or more, there's another tax called mansion tax, which is 1% of the home's purchase price. It's paid by buyer, but transfer tax is usually paid by seller of normal transactions. For most foreclosure and bank-owned properties, buyers pay. And mortgage recording tax. It could dance up to 1.825% depending on your loan size and where you're living. Property appraisal costs around $450 to $800 depending on the size of the property. Category number 3, annual fees. Owning a property comes with its fair share of ongoing expenses, from monthly mortgage payments to utility bills. Now, when it comes to closing costs, there are a few annual fees you will want to keep in mind. First, homeowners insurance. Before you're all set, you will need to snag homeowners insurance for the upcoming year. Lenders usually make this a must before transferring your mortgage. Remember, this is a prepaid expense, meaning you will handle it at closing and it can be bundled into your home financing. You might also want to think about adding extra coverage, like protection against certain natural disasters. Now, property taxes. It's infamously high in New York. On average, homeowners dish out about 1.40% of their home's assessed market value. Property taxes are typically prorated between the seller and the buyer during a real estate transaction. It means dividing the property taxes for the year based on the amount of time each party has owned the property during that year. And don't forget, if you're a senior, veteran, or dealing with a disability, you might qualify for some property tax exemptions. A whopping 35% of New York homeowners are part of Homeowners Association. It covers the fun stuff like maintaining clubhouses, pools, fitness centers, and even keeping things tidy with trash removal and security. Okay, friends, now let's talk about a little more exciting part. How to save on closing costs. When it's time to pick your title company, inspector, or surveyor, don't rush. Shop around like a pro. Your real estate agent, attorneys, and lenders have their favorites, and going with their picks might score you some sweet discounts. And let's shape up your finances. Boost that credit score before you go loan hunting. With a shiny credit history, you could get a lower interest rate and a super cool loan terms. Trust me, a little effort here can save you big bucks over the years. And speaking of saving, aim to put more money down upfront. The closer you get to that 20% mark, the less you will cough up for PMI. And let's just sweet talk your lender. If you get a solid history with your lender, it's time to chat. You might have some wiggle room with those loan setup fees. Ask them to trim the extras like rate lock fees and more. And if that's a no-go, see if you can split those payments into stages. No closing costs mortgage? Caution. Your lender covers your closing costs, but you pay a tad more in interest. Just be careful that higher interest could cost you more down the line. Add costs to your loan? You can roll those costs into your mortgage. But keep in mind, this will bump up your mortgage payments. That's it, my friends. Thank you for watching somewhat boring video, but I hope you find it useful. We get calls and emails every day of people just like you looking for help of buying and selling in New York, and we absolutely love it. Whether you're buying in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email so we can help you to make a smooth move to New York.